Mm-mm-mm. Oh, I'm live. My bad. My bad, party people. What's going on? Oh man, I'm just getting myself together. I know it's late. I know the playoffs are on. I ain't really looking at basketball till the finals anyway. So all of the first round, second round stuff, I ain't really too much worried about it. So I actually don't expect too many people to be up in here. Uh, but if they do roll up, we'll chop it up for a little bit and see what's going on. All right, party people, what's going on with you? We just gonna. I know it's late. I know. Super late. And yeah, I should have been up in here a whole lot sooner. Um, but hold on, let me check something. Make sure. All right. Okay. All right. Yep, my volume's working. Woo wee. All right. So I don't really know what I'm gonna talk about. Well, I'm gonna talk to y'all about my day, how things have been going. This month has been wild. And I know I probably should eat it, but I got me instead of what is it? Instead of an apple fritter, I got an apple crisp. So and some ice cream. So I'm just chilling. Um, got my apple crisp and with some ice cream, and I'm good to go. Mhm. So it was good. No, I'm sorry. Today was great and prosperous, and today really tested me on how much I love being a notary. Today was a really big test. This whole month was a test. I've had more cancellations and reschedules this month than a little bit. I mean, it's like every time I turned around, the order was getting canceled, orders getting rescheduled, um, shifted here, moved there. It was just wild. I mean, the whole month. I mean, it was just like over and over and over again. And wasn't really too much I can do about it, but just try to be as flexible as I can. Um, then you got people tripping out on Clubhouse and stuff, with their mess, and it's wild. So I know some of y'all saw the video that I did about, if I call you, don't be offended. And that was in response to a question that was asked. Hey, good evening, friends. That was in response to a question that was asked about whether you were helping out a notary out. And a lot of people will say no. To be honest with you, they'll say, "No, I ain't helping no other notary out." If they make mistakes or they're doing stuff fraudulent, that's on them. And I partly agree with that. I think if you are doing a split signing, which is what I was referring to, if you're doing a split signing, probably want to help them out or make them have. Hopefully, they help you out if you're the first notary, because on a split signing, if the document has errors in it, it doesn't get recorded. And if it doesn't get recorded, then how do you get paid? So if it's a split signing of any sort, if it's two notaries being involved in the process, notary in one state, another, or even in the same state, but in two different cities or counties, and one notary is relying on the other notary to do the thing correctly, it matters. So to sit there and watch somebody or to see that they did something wrong on a document that you're notarizing and should be getting paid from, and you don't say anything, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would you not say something when you clearly see there was an error? And hopefully, if the error is fixable. So it's not like the error is not fixable because they would just tell the person, okay, we got to redo this. But if you could get ahead of it and work together as a team, and we're always talking about we're supposed to be teams here, teammates, then and having notary buddies, then why wouldn't you? You know, And to me personally, it was a little disturbing with some of the comments that people were saying because I said I would reach out to them or I would even ask them, "How long have you been a notary?" When you make mistakes, you open yourself up to be questioned like that. It's that simple. You drive in your car and you do something crazy with while driving, the police officer come up to you and say, "How long have you been driving? Did you just get your license? I mean, what's going on here? You look like you should know what you're doing, but you're not." So when you're acting up or do something, people will question the length of time you supposedly been doing something. You know, it's like, okay, aren't you grown? You old enough, like your 15-year-old son doing something childish. Like, okay, wait a minute, you 15 years old, you should know better. So we question people in the validity of how long they've been something or doing something or the age when they make mistakes. So to me, it's a valid question. When somebody makes a mistake, you probably want to understand how long have they been doing it, which can determine how you go about helping them. So if you're there to help them, it's a measuring tool. But a lot of people get offended by hearing that somebody would question how long they've been doing something and all of that. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody wants to ask you a question and you made a mistake and what you're doing is affecting their money, they probably have a right to ask you what's going on. Because the title company would, the lenders would, a lot of people would if you're costing them money. So I think people are just looking at it short-sighted for as their own personal thing. Don't question me. And even to the point where one person talking about you open yourself up to getting your butt whipped because you asked somebody a question because you don't personally know them. Like, whether I personally know you or not, if we're working on a project together and you making a mistake, guess what? I'm going to say something. It's, that's just me. Now, whether you do it or not, that's on you. You don't have to. So I was dealing with that, and I was like, oh man, people get triggered for any little thing. But oh, what do we say here? Okay, let me talk. Let me see what my man Larry's saying here. Good question, Larry. Good question. All right. I'll throw down on this apple crisp. My favorite dessert. All right. Just got started in getting my business. Just got started getting my business started. I've did everything I was supposed to do yet. I have not received any signings. Well, first, what city you're in? You know, city and state. I need to know that. You know where you're at. Okay, I'm sorry. Down here at the bottom. Oh, my bad. Illinois. All right. In Illinois. Let's look at something. Let's pull something up here. All right. Let me get something up straight up first. Um, all right. I want to get this set up first before I. All right. So, um, now what county are you in? Let me know what county you're in, Larry, for Illinois. Okay. Because that's going to help me with what I'm doing here. 'Cause I need to know what county you're in, and that will help me with what I'm trying to show you right here. Cook. All right. All right. Cook County. Okay. All right. Let me pop this up here. And like I said, we just gonna go wherever we go tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about. All right. So and let me type this in the chat real quick. Let me get this share up, and then I can get this. All right. All right. And I just put it in the chat, the website that I'm on. Okay. So this is a called reventure.app. and the Reventure app. And what it's doing is showing you, I'm trying to see. There we go. That's better. A little bit bigger. So what this is doing is showing you over here set what's for sale in Cook County. Okay. So it's showing here's Cook County, and it's showing that you got 7,000 units for sale. I don't know if that's a lot or a little for your area. Um, Depending on if you got 7,000 units for sale, which might be considered low, the question is anybody buying them? How many are pending? And this here is what causes some issues is that you're in an area where not, even though you might have a lot of inventory, a lot of houses for sale, the issue is what kind of contracts do you have? Are there any contracts out there? Um, Let me see what else. Let's see if there's any other. So I was trying to see if they had the price, the house prices on here. Poverty rate, margin total, median age, um, home value. And let's see what comes up with that. So the median home value in Cook County is 275,000. Based on how much somebody is making, which would be the median household income, that would determine whether or not people can afford it. So most people in Cook County is basically the median income is 75,000, 727. The houses are 200 or some thousand. Is that enough money for them to make that mortgage? And if it is, then cool. If it's not, they might be struggling, which means nobody's buying houses. So you got 7,000 houses on the market, nobody's buying them. The question is why? Could it be that they're overpriced for the area that they're in? So there's 275, which is much lower than in my area, but it might just still be too much for the average person in your area. So that if it's too much for them, then they're not gonna buy if the deal or if they can't qualify. So even if the house is the right, dollar amount for them, if they can't qualify for issues, then you're not going to have a whole lot of sales going on in your area. So that's where the problem comes in. So depending on how close you are to DuPage County over here, who got a higher income and they're oh, this one here. So what this shows here, this shows the percent of money that people are making, and then it's showing you what's the percent they're paying 31% of their money toward their mortgage, and that is considered high. 31% of their salary is going to their mortgage. The typical yearly house payment, $24,000. So that's 31% of that 75,000. You don't have a whole lot of wiggle room in there. So if people don't have enough income coming in, they go sell their house. Yeah, they're selling into a house that costs even more than what they had. So if they bought the house at $100,000, they're trying to sell it for 275. They pretty much gonna have to take that whole lump sum of money that they just paid and dump it on a house. But if the house that they're trying to buy is more than 275, so they're selling at 275, but where they're going to live at might be 312, might be 325, might be 330. Will they still and their income hasn't going up? Man, they may not be able to make that mortgage payment. So they want to sell, somebody can't buy, but then if they do sell, where they going to live? So you got all of these factors going in, and then the biggest thing is a lot of people just don't qualify for the mortgage. And this app can carry you all the way down into various zip codes. I haven't looked at Chicago yet, so I'll see what. I guess I need to. Let's scuba da da. Let's see here. I guess I'll select that. So in these different counties or these different zip codes, this is the percent of what they're making and they're paying in mortgage. So let's get over here more to Chicago. So if you look, 45% of their salary is going to the mortgage, 43%, 40%. This is what so you think about it. Somebody's moving into this area, they're not making a whole lot of money, and you mean to tell me that 45% of what I make has to go to paying a mortgage because the median household income in this zip code is 54,000. Somebody's making 80,000 who could afford that. The problem is they may not like the neighborhoods, they might not like the houses. So these are the factors that are going into this, and you have to think and try to figure out how to get there. Look at here, 65%. So their own and their income is only 36,000, but 23,000 of that money is going to more 65%. So the question is, what kind of housing do you have here? And the income bracket down to 36%, I mean 36,000. Nobody who's making 80,000 or more probably is going to live there. Okay. This is what you're dealing with. So this is what you're faced with. And you're trying to say, where's the mortgages coming? Who's buying houses around here? And this is the problem. So this is what you're dealing with, house value, year over year, from one year to the next year, they're either going up or they're going down. So this is stuff that you have to take into account, and you don't need to get this deep into the weeds of it. And you can see here the house values are starting to drop. They're not going up a whole lot, so they're not the value of them hasn't really dropped significantly enough to make a dent so that people can say, "I want to." So this here, if you see it positive, that means it's going up 8%, down 1.4%, 3.2%. So these and it's telling you what the value is. In March 2022, the house was 233,000, now it's 236. So it's going up. So let me look at that area. Yeah, the it's starting to come down, but not enough to where people really wanna buy those houses. So this is what you gotta take in account of, you know, now with this business. Does it mean that you don't get in the business? It says here, so I need to do is branch out further. Yes, you're gonna have to be willing to branch out. And here's the thing, you got notaries who say, "I ain't driving here. I ain't driving there. If it ain't next door to me, I'm not doing it." Okay, that's you. But for me, I gotta do what I gotta do. Case in point. Let me help y'all understand where I had to go today, what I did today. Okay. I did some driving. I did some driving. Let me see if I can just put some markers on here. Do that. How do you put the markers? Um, Okay, let me show y'all. So this is Virginia Beach. Okay, let me help y'all understand. This is my area. This is where I live at. Okay, so my house. I think I remember where my house is at. It's up in here somewhere. This is Acredale. Okay, so my house is up in here. This is where my house is at, right up in here. Okay, my house is right up in here. My first signing, I went from over here all the way down to here, way down here in Sandbridge. Okay, about a 40-minute drive all the way down here. Went there, came all the way back home, and then came all the way back home. After that, what was the next one? Okay, I know where that one was at. After that, after coming from I went from here, went back home, then I had to go down here. Where was that? Might have been further down. Down up in here. I had to go down up in this area, way down here somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but it was down here. Okay. Um, mm-mm. Yeah, I went past there. Did I go past there? So I went down somewhere up in here. I got lost. I went way down here somewhere, down up in this area, um, down here, somewhere up in there. Then from there, from down here, I had to drive all the way up over here. Then from here, I had to go over here. Actually, that here, Crichton. So then I went here. And from here, I just brought my little happy butt back home. That's what I did today. So basically, I started here, drove all the way down here near North Carolina, came back around, went down here, went up to here, Newport News, then came across down to Crichton, and then back home. That's what I did today. I had to do what I had to do. And I started off with 5 signings and ended up with, I think I started off with 5 and ended up with basically 4. So I did that one. Yeah, because one of them got lost, and then I picked up a signing, and I had to cancel an order because once I got over here, the signing ran a little longer, then the traffic coming back down was too crazy. So the 6 o'clock signing that I had, this one was 4 o'clock. I figured I can knock this 6 o'clock one out, which was around the corner from my house, and then get back over here by 7, back over this way by 7. Wasn't gonna happen, so I had to cancel the order. So I had 5, went down to 4, went back up to 5, and then I went back down to 4. And then here's the crazy part. This one that I had here was supposed to been over here at 10 AM. It started off at 10 AM, then it went to 2 PM, then it ended up being at 7 PM because they couldn't get the documents together in time. I started at 10 AM, then it shifted to 2 PM. It went to 2 PM because my 2 PM that I had got canceled, so I slid that one in there. Then they said, "Nope, the documents still aren't ready." Went and did my other 2, my 3 o'clock and then my 4 o'clock, and then I went and did the 7 o'clock one, and I think that one went in like an hour and a half. Then the lady was doing a reverse mortgage. This was her first one, and it was emotional for her, and I had to just flow. This is what I did today, okay? I don't have time to listen to all of these people out here talking about what they ain't gonna do. And like I keep saying, there's so many people in this notary business always talking about what they're not going to do. I'm not taking this pay. I'm not taking this order. I'm not. There are times when we can't do them. So, granted, I like I said, I live over here. I live over here where it says Acredale. Oops, bring that back up. So I live over here where it says Acredale. So for me, sometimes orders will come for me to go all the way from down here all the way here, and sometimes all the way up here by Maryland. Sometimes they want me to go all the way up here. There's no way feasible that I can do that for $65. No way. There's just no way at all. It doesn't make sense to go 5 hours round trip for 65. But if somebody asks me to do 65, I'm here, I'm here, and I gotta go over here or down here. Okay, I knock that out. That's not gonna be too hard. This is what you have to deal with. And this is your business, and you have to make up your mind. So let's just say, let's see here, Kempsville, Virginia Beach, okay, and going to um Green Greenbeltville. Is that Green? I'll just go with Accomack. You see what I'm saying? They talking about, and this is where you have to do some common sense. Okay, it's a $20 round trip going all the way over there. And then when they say, "No, we want you to really," and then they come back and talk about going over here to what is called Chickateague Island, you talking about at least a 2-hour drive one way. You can't do that for $65, okay? And they don't have a whole lot of notaries over there, so you need to ask them for a little bit higher fee. Sometimes they'll pay it, sometimes they won't. But outside of something like that, the question is, why can't you do the other orders? $65 to go ship, shoot, 85 to go boop, boop, and you made your money. And then if the order is only like 30 pages, 80 pages, or whatever, what's wrong with that? How is that belittling you and beneath you? So you got if you're trying to do business, you got to figure out how I want to do business and what level of money I want to make. Now, if you say I want $400 a signing, then you have to find somebody that's going to pay you $400 a signing. And at the $400 a signing, what is the monthly fee that you want to make? Do you want to make $3,000, $8,000, 12,000? So then you have to do the simple thing is all you have to do is simply this is pull up your trusty dusty calculator and ask yourself and say, I want $8,000. I want $8,000 divided by 400. That's 20. So now the question is, do you have 20 $400 orders in your area? It's either yes or no. End of story. If you say, somebody normally it is, I want 200. Well, we know already, divided by 200, that's 40. So do you have 40 orders? Now, the other question is this: are you willing to do $40 worth, 40 orders? Are you willing to put in that level of effort? And what if the 40 orders are not 10 minutes from your house? All of these are things you got to ask yourself. And nobody talking about that in all of these marketing classes. So you're doing all of this marketing, Google my business, Google my page, my business page, whatever you want to call it, my profile. And then somebody an hour and a half from you calls and says, I'll pay you 200 to come here. Will you go for 200? Well, nah, I ain't doing, oh, nah, that's what you get 66 and a half cents for mileage. You get to deduct this, that, and the other, your business expenses for is your paper and all of that, and you won't go. Hey, what's going on, Akira? What's going on with you? You see what I'm saying? And then people are trying to figure out, yeah, I'm doing this month. I got, I think, 66. or still 64 signings that I did this month. Last month I did 80. The month before I did 71, I think, or 73, something like that. So the reason why I'm doing that amount because when they come in, I'm saying yes. And the only reason why I'm saying no is because my schedule just it doesn't fit. So I said yes to one today because I thought it fit in my schedule. I said, okay, I'll do it because I actually was sort of expecting the work that I did at 7 to get delayed or get canceled because they was having such a problem with the documents. I did that one at 6 as a backup, but then I got stuck to where I couldn't even get back on this side, and I actually had to call up a notary and ask them to help me with the printing of the document so I could log in and print the documents and stuff and all of that at the office so I could get on the computer and just print the documents because I could not make it back to my place at all because I was stuck and I didn't carry a printer with me because it was raining most of the day and I was not going to risk getting it wet. So I had to find somebody. Now, if I couldn't have found anybody, then I would have just went head on and and did my thing, went home and printed it. I just would have been a little bit later. I would have been late. But this is what you have to go and do. I mean, yeah, this is I mean, either you're going to check either you're going to do it or you're not. If your desire is not to do that kind of level of effort, then you won't. It's that simple. You will not do it. So here's the problem. People who are lazy or unmotivated or uninspired to put that kind of effort out there will tell you to do the same, to justify sometimes them not putting forth the effort. So that's why you have to be careful about who you're listening to and everything. Because if you're listening to the wrong person, that becomes a problem for you. And then next thing you know, you're not making any money. Because if you have a desire to do something, they don't have a desire to do it, but they got a bigger voice out here. They're up here bragging this, that, and the other about how they don't do this and don't do that, you know. And tell me what y'all think about this analogy. I was thinking about the notary world versus network marketing. The network marketing, let's say like Amway or some of these other, these pyramid schemes. The difference between them and the notary is simply this. As a notary, you can say you're making such and such amount of money. You got this going on, that going on, and there's no checks and balances. Nobody can truly verify whether what you're saying is true. But in network marketing, you can't say I got a downline of people following me of 75 people because there's somebody above you that can be like, no, you don't, because you're under me. I brought you into business and I'm monitoring you because if you had 75 people, then my income would reflect that increase of people that you brought into business. In other words, you can't lie with so much in network marketing, depending on the type of network marketing business it is. And I was in Amway, didn't do nothing in it, but I know how Amway is structured, or at least it was. And you had the person, and they got people, then they got people, and so and you knew who got how many each person had. There was reports. There's nothing like that in the notary world. So somebody can hop out here and say, "Hey, I'm a notary trainer. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been doing this for this amount of years," and you have no way of proving anything at all. Yeah, you can look them up on the Secretary of State site, but it doesn't mean they was doing the business during that time. I got this many people, I've trained this many people. How do you know? You can't verify that. I'm making this money, I'm making that money. You can't verify anything because we're not connected that way. And that's a part of the problem is that you're just okay. I'm gonna just blindly believe this person and trust that this person isn't trying to screw me over. And sometimes by the time you figure out that they're screwing you over, it's a little too late. Apple crisp. Mm, thing good. Didn't get a chance to get didn't get a chance to get my fritter today and stuff. So when you think about it, How do we verify what these people are saying? And this is why I keep saying you gotta ask questions. And Imma tell you now, people will not like you asking questions. If y'all ever in a clubhouse with me, or when people make statements and I ask questions about what they're saying to get some clarification, they don't like that. People wanna be able to just roll up in here and just say what they wanna say publicly and then think nobody should question them. Where do you get that from? That you're gonna come in a public forum, clubhouse, and say a statement, and even if it is a true statement, somebody might not fully understand the angle that you're coming from or what you mean or whatever, and when people start questioning and asking, the person is like, "Well, and they don't really have an answer." That's what I see going on, and then think about it, Clubhouse is supposed to be like, we're getting together, chilling, and just talking, just chopping it up. If you and your friends, male, female, whoever, are kicking it together and y'all just chatting it up, if somebody makes a statement, "Yeah, I was thinking about messing with that with so and so," the fellas will be like, wait a minute, man. Come on now. You know how she is." Or the ladies will be like, "Girl, you know how he is. He can't hold a job worth nothing." And you start questioning the person who you're having this conversation with in your own face-to-face clubhouse. All Clubhouse is supposed to be is what we do face to face, virtually. But what it is turned into is nobody wants to say anything because they don't wanna be challenged, or if they do say something and you challenge them, they have all kind of hissy fits and they label you as aggressive, this, that, and the other. But all you doing is asking for clarification. Maybe you didn't understand and everybody else did. And if you don't understand something, then aren't you supposed to ask for clarification? And hopefully that person will have it in their heart to say, "Okay, here's what it is. This is what I meant by that." "Oh, okay, got it. Thank you." But that's not what's happening. That is not what's happening. What my man I agree, bro. The amount of people I've come across who have their commission but never use it leads me to believe that the majority of the people are not making money in the business. That is correct. The majority of the people are not making money in this business. They are not whatsoever. They're just floating around in here. And part of the reason why most people aren't really doing this business is because people are telling you all of this ancillary stuff that you gotta do in order to be successful. From researching, and there's a certain level of researching that you have to do. From marketing, there's a certain level of marketing you can do, you don't have to. Business cards, T-shirts, pins, all of this stuff, and then when do you get out there and do it? And after all of this, what does most people say? "Well, I'm scared." And what are you nervous about? Actually doing the job of a notary. That becomes the problem. That's the issue. And if you're taking training of any sort, and after the training you take, you are still afraid to go out here and do this business, either there's a problem with you or there's a problem with the training you took, or both. Because when you take training, it should encourage you to do. Now, for some people, take a class on marketing, it encourages them to go out there and market. And if that person has it within them already to know how to do the notarial part, they will be very successful. But we have a high number of people that are in this business that have no entrepreneurial experience. They don't understand it at all, and they've never done notary stuff. They don't understand it, and then they're taking a class on marketing, they're taking a class on how to get yourself out there, and when the opportunity comes, they're not able to take advantage of it because deep down inside and even on the surface, they're scared. They and then they might ask a question, and all they get back is, "Oh, put it in the Facebook group or just post it in this here place, and somebody will answer it." If you pay for training and you ask your trainer for help, especially if they got at least 5 years in this business or more, and you ask them for help about understanding something notarial and they can't help you out at all they got to say is stick it in some chat room and let a whole bunch of other random people answer it, that don't even have as much experience as the trainer, something's wrong there. Something is wrong. I mean, something is wrong. Mm-mm, that no. You wouldn't accept that in your college classes. I'm tired, y'all. It's late. I'm eating. Y'all eat because I know some of y'all eating. I just can't see it, but I know y'all eating. How do you pay for something, and then the person who you pay when you ask them for some type of guidance, they tell you, "Oh, well, just go put it in this here open forum, and somebody over there answer it." So you mean to tell me you can't why can't you give me some kind of guidance or help? Well, just put it over there, and somebody'll tell you what the answer is. And I understand people talking about, well, each state is different, but there's some basics of notarization that you can do. Matter of fact, you can actually probably research it and help the person understand. Maybe get on a Zoom together. Here's a brilliant idea. Hop on Zoom together, Mr. Trainer and student, and go to note and take note and open up the Notary Essentials course. Listen to the Notary Essentials course together for that state of the student, and maybe as you listen to it, you can help them to understand what they're saying concerning notarizations. In other words, put forth some daggone effort to help the people. All right, man. Wife going to bed, so I gotta talk everything. So this is what this if somebody's paying you, help them. So when you don't have that, and most people like, man, wait a minute, you mean I'm in college paying $35,000 a year or whatever the case may be. I go to my professor, ask for some help, and him and his teacher's aide can't even help me. And all they're telling me is, "Oh, just post it on the forum on the message board and see if somebody gives you an answer." Okay, if I wanted some person that's on the same level as me education wise about this to answer it, I would have just did that from the point. You're the professor. I'm paying you. My money is paying you, not paying them. So you got me paying you, but they're giving me answers. They ain't getting compensated for it. Nah, I'm asking you, answer my daggone question. I mean, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Because we do that in other areas of our life. Public school with our kids. It's you're the teacher, answer my kid's daggone question. You're the teacher, tutor my kid. Not, "Oh, I'm the teacher. Well, we're gonna have your son get tutored or your daughter get tutored," and then you come to pick the kid up and you see them being tutored by some other kid. That's not what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting this other kid to tutor my kid, especially you made me think that you was gonna do it, and then I come here and you got little Earl doing it. Why is little Earl tutoring my son on math? I don't no. My tax dollars didn't go to pay him to do this. It's paying you. Get your butt over there and tutor my son, my daughter. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So, this is the stuff that's going on out here, and it can make it very difficult for you to move forward in your business. And then people, they end up quitting because they get overwhelmed with all of the stuff that people are saying you need to do. To counter that, that's why I do what I do. Not to say that those people can't say what they're saying or make the comments. They can make whatever comments they want, but you need there needs to be balance because not everything is marketing, marketing, marketing. Go to every networking event, go to every conference, go to every meetup. My question is this: how much business are you getting out of 15, 20, 30 notaries going to a meetup just with themselves? And yes, they may have a guest speaker from a title company or a signing company. And then the question is, how much business are the notaries getting from that guest speaker that's a title, that's a lender, that's a title, a lender, or a signing company? How much business are you actually getting? So you got 20 notaries came together. come to this event. You got these speakers from title, escrow, lender, and signing company. How much business are they generating for those notaries after it's over? That's the question. How much business are you actually getting? Because hopefully you will get some. But the thing is, if those 3 entities do not have business in your area, you ain't gonna get any business. If those 3 entities have requirements, they got business in your area, but the title company says, "Well, we have a requirement that only people that has 2 signings can do closings for us." Here's the problem. Most of the companies, right, little to none. Most of the companies I done lost my train of thought. So I was just saying, I was trying to read my man's comment. So, yeah, what was I getting ready to say? Oh, man. It wasn't his fault that I lost the train of thought. I just lost it because, oh, man. So I was just saying they got, yeah, they have a requirement of 80 signings, and most of the companies, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. But bottom line is simply this: if you're trying to move forward in this business and they got a requirement of 200 signings, and you knew, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I knew I would get to it. So some of these companies got a requirement of 200 signings. The problem is this: most of the notaries don't have that, and because they don't have that, they're not gonna get it. And most of the notaries who go to these events are in the category of having less than 200 signings. So you have notaries who are, and let's say 8 signings or less, being talked to by people who have a requirement of 150 or more. Huge gap. So you got, so what that is, so right there, that is say 150 minus 80. So that's 70 signing gap. You are 70 signings below their minimum. Okay, we'll just say 150. So you're in a meeting, you're at an event, you're supposed to be learning how to get more business. But the people who are telling you they got the business have a requirement. They got a requirement. They have a requirement that you gotta be at least 150 signers. And let's just say 2 years of business in the business, and the average notary right now probably at these events only got a year, if that. So how do you get business when you don't meet their minimum requirement? How about maybe the host can say, let's open it up some. How do you what's going to be done to open it up to notary? So in other words, if you have a question and answer period, probably want to ask the question of the speakers, what is your minimum requirement that you have for notaries? Shouldn't be no hemming and hawing. Just be straight. You got to have 85 signers, 100 signers, 2 years experience, or whatever the case may be. You have to have that before we select you. And then you have the issue of, and again, it still goes back, the title company might be cool if you only having 50. I mean, the signing company might be cool with you having 50, but if the title says, "No, it gotta be 85, 35 short." So you need to find out what are the requirements. What do you want? So I'm going to these events. Thank you, Caprentice, requirements. What do you how do I get business if I'm going to events and the people who are there to tell me about how great it is to be in this business and how much money I can make and this, that, and the other, but their requirement, I'm way below. Now, on top of that, you've been told by so many people, don't take this, don't take that, don't do HELOCs, don't do debt settlement, don't do reverse mortgages, don't do reverse mortgage applications, don't do loan applications, don't. Don't, don't. And you're sitting there watching the type of assignments come by, and you're saying, "Nope, I was told don't do it." And then you're seeing the very types coming through, or the ones they say, "Hey, oh, yeah, do refinance, do purchases, or do sellers." Okay, but then they're coming at a price that what's up, Wanda? They're coming in, but they're coming at a price that somebody else told you don't take. Somebody else said, "Don't do that for 85." What's wrong with it? I I mean, if that's what you think your time is worth, I mean, if you wanna put yourself out there like that, you go ahead on. You need to ask them how much you make at your job, how much money you make an hour, because if you ain't making the dollar amount that you say you wanna make per signing, if you ain't making that at your W-2, then how you gonna tell me that $70 is too little for me to make me feel bad about taking that dollar amount? Again, this business is for a lot of these folk, is all about telling you what not to do. Yet they're sneaking around and doing it themselves. Sneaking around and got their kids doing it. Think about it. Somebody's telling you don't take these orders, but they got their son or daughter in your same area taking those orders left and right. You tell me an 18-year-old who understands if an 18-year-old gets in this business and they know how to notarize. They understand the basics of notarization. Don't you think a 17, 8, well, 18-year-old gotta be 18, 18-year-old that don't wanna go to college, that don't really wanna go in the military, they too undisciplined to at least go in the military, and they're sitting here doing 7, 5 or 6 signings a day, or just say 10 a week at $85 a pop. That's gravy for them. They just loving it. But they're saying you can't do that, but they got their son and daughter doing it. And the reason why their son and daughter doing it, because you sitting at home waiting for the payday, waiting for your ship to come in. And they got their kids at the dock. Soon as that ship comes in, they hopping on it and taking that 85, and you wondering why and you're like, "Okay," and they just sitting there flossing, and then I said, "You can't verify any of the stuff that they saying." So this person says here, da, 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 da. Hey, Griff, I was accepting jobs the other day at lower fees. They kept sending them back with higher fees and still no one else accepting them. They still won't give me okay, and that goes back to the requirement. Mm, 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 mm. The requirements. Here's what you can do. When an order comes in, normally you should be able to do this on either Snap or Signing Order. When an order comes in and you go through the process of saying you are available for the job, hitting the green button, after thing goes through and it tells you, "Hey, you did it. Thank you very much, for submitting, saying that you're available." Hit the back button on your phone. Hit the back button to where you come and you see the screen that has the order information. Scroll up, screenshot it. See the person's contact information down there. Shoot them an email or call them. The order comes in, and then you screenshot it. If you fast enough, if you want to, as soon as it comes in, you scroll up, you look, screenshot it so you can have that person's contact information, and then hit them up later and ask them, "I see these orders coming through. I'm saying I'm available. They're coming back through at a higher fee, and you still won't give me the order. What am I missing? What are your requirements in order to give me?" Because one person told me, they said, and I'm not even gonna say the company name because I don't want people to think that I'm picking on them, and I'm not. But one company, I was told by one signing company that because I was trying to get my son to get on the order, I couldn't do it, and I called him. I said, "Hey, can you assign it to my son?" They said, "Well, we have a requirement that from the title company that the notary has to be at this criteria." And I said, "How about this? He's my son. I'm not gonna let him fail. I will go out with on the signing with him and make sure it's done right. Ask your boss, is that okay? Hold on for a second. Yeah, that'll be fine." That's how I got him started. He's not doing it now because of the job that he has, but that's how I was able to get him in there because they was like, "Well, I mean, he's not you. He doesn't have experience like you and this and that." And I'm like, "I get that. How do we get him there if y'all won't give him a chance?" I said, "I will go with him and make sure that it's done right and show him how it's done because the goal is to get it done correctly, right?" "Yes." "So I will make sure. I've not been doing them right for y'all?" "Yes, you have. So let's give him a shot at it." And he was doing it, and then he got to the point where he was on his own. He didn't need me at all. Went in, got it done, and I think he might have had 2 that came back where he missed something and had to correct it. Outside of that, once I showed him and he was off and running. But not everybody has somebody to do that with them or for them. So, if they won't give it to you, it's because they probably have been told they can't. They can't give it to somebody who has this level of experience or has not acquired this level. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. So you can screenshot the order, reply to it. If you see that cycle of I replied, but it's coming back out for $10 more. I replied, coming back out for $20 more. I replied, coming back for $50 more. It's probably also because they want who they call their preferred notaries. And they know that their preferred notary is not going to take it. So they gotta send it out for the fee that they're supposed to from the signing company or from their client, which is the title, which is say $65. They say, "Okay, I'll do it for we'll sign it, send it out for 65." Nobody grabs it. Nobody who they want to grab it, okay? Just like the dating scene. You go out there in your nice suit, nice outfits, certain guys come across you, certain girls come across you, mm-mm, pass, 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 and they might be cute, but you want that one. He might be fine, but you want that one. You might be a great notary, but they want that one, and they're willing to pay a little extra to get that one. This is part of life. This is how it rolls, people, and I wish some of the signing company owners would come out and say this. I mean, because this is really what they're doing. They won't admit to it, and it's not that it's a bad thing. This is just a part of life. You can have 16 candidates apply for a job, and the person who's over here in the back corner that ain't even trying to get the job, they give it to them. You sitting here like, "I know I'm qualified for it." Well, they already got their eye on who they wanna give it to. They just went through the process of giving you a chance to apply, but there was no guarantee that you could take it, I mean, that you could get it. So, they're doing the same thing here. Nothing wrong with them saying they put it out there, and we want a notary who has this level. You're not on that level. You're here, we want somebody here. Everybody in between, you can reply all you want. It gotta be here. And if the t see, this is what y'all have to realize. The signing company has been given instructions that this is what we want, and they're gonna have to follow it. Because if they don't follow it, they lose that contract. And in some cases, my man, they will. Some cases they will. And then also, here's the other thing, the last bit of my mhm, good. Sometimes they will, but then what I found out, sometimes it's the scheduler. So you're like, well, I'm gonna prefer you might be preferred with one scheduler, Amber, but with Franco likes you're like, well, same company, but one scheduler has a favorite, other scheduler has a different favorite. This is how it can be. I won't say this is how it is, this is how it can be. It's not right, it's not fair because it's promoted as if first come, first serve, but it's not always that way. There are companies who contact me directly. They will call me and say, "Hey, are you available for this?" before they send it out. Now, why do they do that? Because when I had the opportunity to work for them, I did it and I did it well. And this is what I'm trying to convince y'all to do is bump all this worrying about marketing all day long. You gotta make sure that when you have the opportunity to do the order, you can do it and do it well. Um, 225,000, it all depends on the companies, and this here's another little, I won't say dirty secret, but this here's an unknown fact about E&O insurance. Some companies want you to have 100,000. Some companies are okay with 25. Some companies want 1,000,000. Here's the problem, they don't tell you. Now you have some notaries that say you need only 25. Some notaries say you need 1,000,000. Some notaries say you need 100. But a lot of that is just personal preference. That's their personal preference. Some notaries say if you got a lot of insurance, you're gonna automatically get sued. Okay, well, we all have to if you own a home, you gotta have homeowners insurance. If you have a nice car, you gotta have a high amount of insurance. People in Mercedes, Lexuses, BMWs, Hellcat, Chargers, their insurance is high. They got a high amount to cover, and guess what? I don't see people just randomly trying to sue them. So if somebody randomly tries to sue me as a notary, they got to have just cause. They got to have some evidence to prove that I did something wrong, whether it's 25,000 or 1,000,000. And see, here's the thing. I think it's easier to sue somebody with 25,000 versus 100,000 or more. Here's why. If I'm trying to sue you at 25K and and I can say, "Well, I wanna sue you at 50." Well, if all you got is 25,000, okay, the insurance company may pay me the 25, but guess what? You gotta pay the other 25 out of your pocket. The higher amount that you have, you wanna sue me for 1,000,000? You really gotta prove that I did $1,000,000 worth of damage. I think that's a harder thing to prove than 25,000. This is just my thoughts on that. So, then the question then becomes, why would they sue me? And you can refute it, you can rebut it, you can go so the chances of them being successful with it might be very, very little. I think it is because it's errors and omission, which means they're suing you because you made an error or you omitted something. They have to still have proof that you had an error or omitted. I mean, you think about it. That's what it's called, errors and omission. It's designed to protect you against errors and omissions in the course of your normal notary duties. If you're operating outside of your notary duties, then you're not protected. If you're doing stuff, calling yourself a title that doesn't fit under the errors and omissions insurance, yeah, you can get sued. And if your insurance doesn't cover it, guess what? You gotta pay it out of pocket. That's how that rolls. So, great question, Larry. Really, really good question. Thank you for asking your questions and stuff. But to me, really rock and roll in this business, you have to get selfish and say, bump all the dumb stuff. I hear what y'all saying over here in these Facebook groups, all of this, that, and the other, clubhouses, and talking about I should do this and do that. Do this and okay, I hear you. But if I'm a human being who has no problem doing 80 signings per month in order to make $7,000 or $8,000, then why can't I go do that? What's wrong with me doing that? And people will lie, and I mean this, they will lie and say, "Well, you doing that hurts the notary business." How does me going out here working 80 signings hurts the notary business? That's 80 more closings that have been done that were just sitting out there possibly not getting done because you didn't wanna do them because of the dollar amount. You wouldn't do it because of the dollar amount. It's sitting I can do it, and then it's only 85 pages or something like that, no problem. I will go knock it out, make me some money, have my tax deduction, because you can't take advantage of tax deductions if you're not working. If you're sitting around all day and not working, then and not everybody can work in the title office, not everybody can do Ron. We can't I mean, you see what I'm saying? You have to be diversified. We talk about diversification, and one of the levels of diversification is actually being a notary and using your stamp. So go out there and do it. What's the harm in it? Well, the harm is you ain't paying me what I think I'm worth. What's your justification? Because if that's the case, if you believe that strongly about getting paid what you worth, then that means today or tomorrow, this upcoming Monday, yeah, not tomorrow, today's Friday. So in 3 days, you're gonna walk in your office you go to your job, put your stuff down, and you're gonna have a conversation and tell them what you feel you need to get paid because of how you value yourself and you think you're worth this at that job. Because let's just be real. Most of you doing this business because you ain't getting paid what you're worth at your job, and you just trying to use this that little line to justify trying to get money in here because you're not getting what you're worth over there. So you're trying to get it over here in the notary world, but it might not really work. And even if you get it for 4 or 5 months, you might not be able to get it year in and year out, year in and year out. Just being a notary, just doing the notary part. That's when you say, "Well, Imma start training. Imma start mentoring. Imma start this. Imma start that. Imma start doing all this other stuff." Okay, well, that's not you being a notary. That's you being this other stuff. If you just wanna be an entrepreneur making 6 figures, that's one thing. But you're trying to force somebody to make you 6 figures as a notary, and you won't even do the work because it's not paying you. And then you get online and you spew that same ignorant stuff, and yes, I'm calling it ignorant, you spewing that same ignorant stuff out here to new notaries who get confused, and I keep telling you, new notaries, you have every right to question these folks. "What are you talking about, person? Where are you going with this? Where did you get these ideas from? Who taught you this? Who told you this?" You need to ask questions. If you neglect to ask questions and you follow their advice and it burns you, that's on you. Do your due diligence. I tell people, don't just trust me. You can't because if you having a hard time trusting me, then you best believe you should be not trusting them. And if you're trusting them, you're like, oh yeah, no, they cool. What makes them cool? Because they're talking your language. They're telling you what you want to hear. Yeah, you can be rich. Yeah, you can just be laid back and have all these people working for you and doing stuff for you. And yeah, man, yeah, girl. Again, if that's in you to be very, very slack and being motivated, then they're gonna talk your language to convince you to pay for some course that's gonna get you to the next level. "Oh, yeah, you give me $2,000, this course that we're gonna be taking, it's gonna show you how" boom. Basically, you're paying to be told how to be lazy in some cases. I could be wrong, but this is what I see, and guess what? Other people see the same thing. Difference is I'm willing to speak on it to some degree, a lot of people won't. And a lot of people hear this kind of talk, and because it's not prevalent from other people, you think Griffith's just making it up. He's just being a grumpy old man and stuff. Believe what you want, but you stay in this business long enough, and many people can attest. I've called it, and I've called it right. I said when I told y'all they're going to start changing the requirements for notaries. I said that, and it happened. Then I said there's going to be an influx of notary trainers, and it's going to get to a point where there's not going to be enough people to train these folk, or people going to be a little more iffy about taking training, and that is what's happening now. We got a whole buttload of people trying to be trainers and mentors, and they don't have enough people to train and mentor, and they're starting to fight for those people, and they're frantic. And then you're probably gonna have, if not already, and I haven't really looked into it, signing company. Too many daggone notaries trying to start a signing company, and you're competing with each other for the same notaries. So if you got an increase of signing companies and a big decrease in title company activity, how is the signing company going to produce work for you? And they're telling you, "Oh, sign up with me, sign up with 100 signing companies." You sign up with 100 signing companies, but all of them are trying to work with the same 3 or 4 title companies. So you got 15 signing companies trying to get work from 3 title companies, and the 3 title companies only got 1 or 2 lenders they're working with the piece. There's not enough work coming from the lender to the title to the signing. And I don't know what it's gonna take for y'all to understand this, and I'm not trying to be mean or condescending. This is just the truth. You gotta get out of your head and just look at this for real, for real. If the lender is struggling getting people to work with them to borrow money, then they don't have business to give to the title. If the title don't have business, then they can't give it to the signing, and therefore the signing can't give it to you. That's the flow. And if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me, but that's the flow. The lender, title, escrow, settlement people, all that one group, signing company, then you, or no signing company, then directly to you. And even if you're sitting in an office with a direct client, they might be down 3 or 4 lenders, and they had 8 at one time, and they might be down to only 4 lenders, and those 4 lenders got a 80% reduction in business. How do you make it? Yeah. Mhm. Paying them to be lazy. Paying them to be lazy. So, I'm telling y'all, you gotta stop just believing the hype. There's some folk out here, they're just a very attractive hype man or hype woman, and they'll get you hyped for the moment, but when the hype is gone and the reality sets in, when you get that first, "You did such and such wrong, you gotta go back out and fix it, and you're not getting paid until you fix it, and we're not paying you to go fix it because you gotta do it on your own," and you they tell you you gotta ship it also, which shipping, if you don't have a good FedEx account, can cost you $45. My FedEx account, it only cost me 15. You will be broke in a heartbeat. You listen to people talking about, "Oh, you don't need a dual tray printer," or "Don't worry about it, you just go to FedEx and print," and they're paying you 125, but over half of that is going to your printing and scanning costs because somebody told you you really don't need all of that to do loan closings, which you do. You see what I'm saying? All of these lies that people keep telling y'all. There are a lot of scammers out there that are offering loan signings, but look them up and they do, exist, yeah, do not exist in your location. So that's what I'm saying. On average, most of the people who are talking to y'all don't even live in your area. So I don't know how much more plainer I can put it out there. Um, I don't really know what else to say sometimes on this subject because it's notaries, as human beings, you wanna believe what you wanna believe. You wanna believe that everybody's gonna be kumbaya and just love you and just take you all back and all this, that, and the other, and just but unfortunately, they're not. And you don't want to do the part of, "Let me vet them. Let me challenge them." Because if I challenge them, they might get mad and don't want me to be in their little special group anymore. And if I can't be in a special group, how am I gonna do this business? On your own. Figure it out. Because those same people who are kicking you out of their groups, they learned this business on their own. but now they're making you think you can't learn it on your own. That's the game, people. And I'm just trying to help you understand that you can figure this out on your own. And if you can't, then go do something else. There's nothing wrong with that. Or go do something else until you get to the point where you're willing to figure it out on your own. Because the information is out there and you don't have to pay some of these people for that information that is already out there. But that's on you. But if you feel that you're only special based on the amount of money you spend, you do your thing. You do you and you spend whatever you want anywhere else. Now, are there any other questions? Anybody got any questions about anything? Okay. And if it ain't crazy, I will be more than happy to answer anything concerning business, concerning whatever. The notary business or any questions that you got, I'll be more than happy to answer. But today was a rough day in one regard while I'm waiting for the questions to come in. I think, like I mentioned earlier, this lady, she was doing a reverse mortgage. She had some stuff going on in her family. And when I called and talked to her this morning, I could hear the pain in her voice. And I did everything I could to make sure I could stay on that order. So it started at 10. We had problems with the documents. She was upset. And I told the company, I said, I got orders between, I think it was noon and like five something, or about five something. And they didn't respond. Then I turned around and told them, I said, look, my 2 o'clock appointment just got canceled. I'll be more than happy to put her in my 2 o'clock spot. They said, thank you very much. 1:30 came, no docs. 1:45, no documents. 2 o'clock, no documents. I rolled out to go to my 3 o'clock. Plus, I had house inspections to do. Went out and did those, did that, I think, on the way there, and got got there and did home the HELOC at 3 o'clock. Got that done, rolled out to do my mobile home or manufactured home closing at 4 o'clock. And while I'm in between the 3 and the 4, they're like, "Hey, we'll have the documents ready for 7 o'clock." All right, cool. That's what y'all say. Get an order for 6 o'clock. Yeah, I'll do it. It's in my zip code. Get over there, get stuck, can't come back. So I'm like, okay, gotta let that 6 o'clock go. Try to get it assigned to a notary that I know, don't know if they did that. Got the 7 o'clock done, actually didn't get there till about 7:35, left there after 9 o'clock. And where I was at with this house, there was no street light at all going to this man. It was at least maybe 2 mile. His driveway from the main road was 2 miles, at least 2 miles. Minimum mile, but probably more than 2 miles. So if y'all got I'm serious, if y'all got questions, ask the questions. Don't be afraid. Ain't nobody here gonna be giving you a hard time about asking questions. You have the right to ask questions, okay? You can ask a question if you need help with something, you're not sure about something, you can ask a question. And for those of you who are somewhat timid, so hold on one second. Hold on. Yeah. This here is my Google Voice number. Text your question to me. If you got a question, text it to me. If you don't wanna, answer questions, just tell me. All right, my man. No problem, Larry. You take it easy. Imma be up for a little while because I got scan backs to do and get ready for some house inspections tomorrow and everything. So I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? And if you're listening to people that's making you doubt yourself, you probably don't need to listen to them. And I don't care how popular they are with other people and all this, that, and the other. Their popularity means nothing when they're putting doubt in you. That person being popular means nothing if after being around them and listening to them and partaking of that aura and that essence leaves you doubtful about yourself. You should have the confidence to be able to say, "You know what? I can do this." And if you don't have that confidence to say you can do this, after being around these people, after being in this here little group, then there's a problem there. It's draining you. You need to get away and get refreshed and refilled. Those of you who go to church, they talk about that a lot. Getting away from those negative people and getting refreshed and refilled. Be careful of who you're dealing with in this notary world. There's a lot of great people in here, but even the great ones don't sometimes know how to communicate information to you to move you to the next level. They just know how to make statements sometimes, and you still gotta figure out what that statement meant. That's the truth of the matter. And then you have the people who can't really inspire nothing, but they got a lot to say. And they're very popular, they're very likable, but at the end of the day, you're left empty. That's the issue. You're left so empty. And I'm trying to help y'all to not be empty. But you have to take you have to take responsibility of your business so that you won't be in your business education so you won't be felt you won't feel empty after being with these people or going to these events. What's the point of going to them if you didn't really get anything? And that's why I said, not everybody knows how to speak, not everybody knows how to teach, but a lot of people are being invited to a lot of events, and they don't have any way they're not good at communicating anything that can move you. They say a lot of statements, but they're just not good at really moving you to the next level. And that's what I try to work on a daily basis, try to find a way that I can encourage you to go to the next level. And if I'm able to get you to move just a little bit toward the next level, then I've done my job. But I don't want to just accept a little bit. I want to see great moves, steps toward that. Okay, what is your worth? I mean, now, Wanda, you one of my members, and you know how I'm about that statement. How do I get them to pay me what I'm worth? You got to. How do you define your worth? What is worth? What have you done? What are you doing in order for them to be like, you're worth this? You know what I'm saying? Um, so I did 3 videos, and I'm looking at my thing here. I know y'all probably. I don't know if y'all. Okay, I did 3 videos. Oops. I did 3 videos talking about worth. This one is your worth in the number of signings you've done or the money you made, understanding your worth, understanding profit margin, and your worth as a notary. I've done those 3. Um, I would say listen to those videos, but when you talk about worth, because some people, I w you're saying some people are could be saying, "I wanna get paid my worth," because they're in a financial situation that requires a lot of money to get out of that financial situation. Because the question is, if you or me or anybody was not in this financial tight situation, would you be concerned about getting paid any higher? Some people will say yes, some people may say no. Nonetheless, if you are saying you are worth dot, how do you get them to pay you more than what you are getting? Case in point, I did a closing for somebody today for $60. In that closing, I saw the notary fee. The notary fee on this $1,000,000 property that was being transacted was $150. I got 60. That means they took, um, was it? Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember what it was. Hold on. It was 125, my bad. It was, 125. It was $125. They paid me 60. The signing company took 65. If the signing company was only able to negotiate 125, how do I get them to pay me more if that's all they are able to negotiate? How can I negotiate to get more when they can't negotiate to get more? So I can try to negotiate and get them to pay me more, but if all they're getting for their services of getting a notary is 125, they're paying me 60, they're keeping 65. How do I get them to give me more of that $60? How much more? Because they still gotta make their money and make a profit in order to even be existing and relevant and running. So how do I get that? How do I convince them that I'm worth more? And even if I do a great job, don't make mistakes, if that company lacks the ability to negotiate for a higher fee for themselves, which could translate to us, then there's nothing that I can do to make them pay me my worth. But I gotta define that. How do I define worth? Those videos I had, they talk about that. So if you on YouTube, let me see how I wanna do this. How do I wanna do this? Let me see if I can. Mm. Trying to see. Imma just you know what Imma do real quick? I think I'm going to make a playlist for y'all real quick on worth. Okay, that's what Imma do. Imma make a playlist with those videos in it, um, and it's gonna be called Worth, and then Imma post it here. Imma post it right now while we're here, and, I'm going to make a quick playlist that will have that video in there. It'll be a playlist called Worth, just for y'all. All right. Hold on. Okay. Boom. Okay. So hold on. All right. That one's done. All right. Boom. This next one. Hold on. That's right. I gotta save the changes. My bad. Because I want the best for y'all. So please bear with me for a quick moment here. Um, right. And then this last one more. All right. So these three videos are in a playlist called Worth. Okay. And then save that. And then I'm gonna go to the playlist. And then I'm gonna put this link in the chat for y'all and I'll pin it and all that other stuff. So then that way y'all can look at those three videos. Um and find it. We got so many daggone playlists, it ain't funny. Hold on one second. And I'm glad you asked that question, to be honest, Wanda. I really am. I really am. Um, oh goodness. All right. That is the craziest thing because it is so hard sometimes after I make a playlist for me to find it. Oh, here it is. There we go. All right. Found it. Gotcha. All right. Shareable link. Okay. All right. Worth playlist. Thank y'all for being patient. All right. That's the playlist for worth. Go check it out. Um, and I also put it in the and I'm gonna put it in the description of the video, and I'm gonna do that right now. Um, so that way it'll be in there when this is over. Um, but let me see. Right. Worth playlist. Glad I know how to type fast. If I didn't, y'all would be here all night long waiting on me. All right. So our time was to bounce off here. We've been on here an hour and a half. And like I said, I got some stuff to knock out. No questions came in. All right. So if anybody out there just monitoring me just to see what I'm going to say, thank you for tuning in. That's all I can say to you. Thank you for tuning in. If you got any questions or concerns about something that I'm saying, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to have a discussion with you about it. Because if I'm saying something wrong and I can be corrected, then guess what? We all get better. So if I learn that I'm doing something incorrectly, not the best of my ability, that's not, then that means I got to come back on here and share that with the people, the party people, and let you know, hey, I was incorrect in this. Here's the right way to do it. Now let's move forward and be successful. But if I'm not doing anything wrong, if you're not willing to have a conversation with me, then I don't know what you're sitting around complaining about if you're not going to get the problem fixed. Don't let me be out here in error. If you can help me, help me. Don't worry, I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm not gonna come at you, because you said, "Hey," and you especially you show me that, "Okay, well, Griff, this is where you missed it at," or you could expound on it a little bit better. I'm fine with that. Just make sure that when you open your mouth and you share stuff, you do the same. All right? So, thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good one, and just be easy. All right? Peace.